From the negative promotion of their favorite players to debates about racial biases, this year's MVP race has taken a turn for the worst.
But what we did right was Joel Embiid. And if the MVP race is over, I'm really, like tonight.
And Nikola Jokic could not possibly be more turned off about the whole affair, as his coach agrees with him on how horrid the entire narrative has been. Michael Malone revealed that his star player Jokic had been upset with the ugly and nasty debate.
Unfortunately, it's just taken a really ugly, nasty turn in the MVP conversation. And I think it's really turned a lot of people off, including him.
And that's saying something, because the back-to-back reigning MVP has never expressed an interest in winning the award in the first place. Malone talked about how there have been many guys who could win the MVP this year, and he was full of praise for Joel Embiid's exploits, while also mentioning the likes of Jason Tatum and Luka Doncic as great candidates. Unfortunately, Malone pointed out that while they're all deserving of the award, today's society has just focused on criticizing their unique and record-breaking seasons, which he called negative promotion, similar to negative recruiting, where no one actually promotes the player they like. Instead, they focus on bringing down the other candidates, which I agree with Malone is ridiculous. He stressed on how everyone should celebrate these historic seasons and focus on how impressive all of them have been throughout the season and the consistency they've shown. But unfortunately, it seems like his words will yet again fall on deaf ears, because this year's MVP race could not possibly be more heated. The worst part here is the main candidates for the award aren't even bothered about it, at least not publicly, which just goes to show how pathetic the whole bringing down the other guy scenario really is. And Malone wants us to build these players up. Yeah, he does not want any more hot takes. And I really hope that Kendrick Perkins and JJ Redick listen to what Malone has to say about all this. Malone believes that the game itself is in a great spot with many great players who don't deserve to get their game nitpicked at every interval. Also, full credit to Malone for not making his whole statement about Jokic's case for the MVP award. And he said that whoever wins the award, good for them. One can only wish for everyone else to have this kind of mentality, but I'd also like to take it one step further and say that Jokic had a huge role to play in this. Look, Jokic is never given a damn about the award. Honestly, I love it. As much as I'd want my favorite player to win it, I think it's amazing that a player of Jokic's caliber thinks this way. He's someone who's standing on the edge of history because remember, if he wins it, it'll be a three-peat of MVPs, something that only a couple of other legends have ever managed. But it's almost bizarre how the Serbian superstar could not care less. He wasn't bothered about the MVP award back when he won it for the first time, or when he made it 2 in a row. He just wants to play the game and enjoy it, while stressing on the fact that it's a team sport at the end of the day, and as much as you'd like to celebrate an individual and their impact, it's important to not forget that basketball remains a team sport and always will be that, first and foremost. But throughout it all, Kendrick Perkins's stupid statement remains the biggest highlight of this pathetic debate.
No one is knocking what Jokic is doing for us, him having an unbelievable season. He's an unbelievable player.
Charles Barkley was quick to rip into Perkins for what he said, calling it one of the most stupid things he'd ever heard, and Barkley may have hot takes of his own, but he could not possibly be more right about this. For those who don't know, Perkins believed that 80% of NBA voters for the MVP award are white, implying that this was the main reason why Embiid hadn't won the award already after coming so close. He went on to claim that this is exactly why he won't win this year either. The worst part about that statement was the fact that nobody knows where Perkins pulled that number from. It was then corrected by Molly Karim on a recent First Take episode.
When Kendrick Perkins said 80% of NBA voters for the MVP award are white, the NBA publicly announces the voters each year by Kendrick Perkins, and we wanted to make sure that we corrected that.
As she explained that the panel was a lot more diverse than it was initially portrayed by Perkins, which she confirms came from NBA's statement. But what's just as puzzling and careless as Perkins' first claim is the second point in his argument. He He believes that Jokic doesn't contribute much when it matters, and the Nuggets' playoff record under the Serb is there for everyone to see. Yet a simple Google search would show that Jokic actually led Denver deeper into the playoffs than Embiid has ever managed with the Sixers. Despite all this, it's even more unfortunate that all this has led to another change this year, which is the players distancing themselves from the MVP debate. And I think it's a smart thing to do, especially under the circumstances. As great as Giannis Antetokounmpo has been this season, and while Luka Doncic and Jason Tatum deserve their flowers too, fact is the MVP debate for the third year running will be between Embiid and Jokic. And there's a lot of contrast between the two leading candidates. Embiid has stated on many occasions that he really does want to win the award, and who wouldn't after coming so close the last 2 years, while Jokic, as I've already mentioned, couldn't care less. But even with Embiid's willingness to win the award, the 29-year-old simply did not sign up to be the face of the debate centered on racial bias. Similarly, as much as Jokic distances himself from the discussions, his record-breaking season means that his fans are ready to go to war for him. But with everyone losing their heads about the debate, it's funny, ironic, and also amazing how the main characters of the debate itself have put themselves out of the fight, which is very different to the way the MVP race usually pans out. It usually involves some mild disagreements, a couple of comments and retorts from the players involved, and a simple coverage of who's trending up. This year, though, both coaches have asked for a bit of civility in light of the controversies. Yeah, even Doc Rivers agrees with his Denver Nuggets counterpart. He asked if we can stop trying to put people down and instead spend our time celebrating our guys in the league, stressing how all the players should be celebrated and considered a part of the sport that we love, rather than some sort of enemies just because they're coming up against your favorite player in the MVP race. Couldn't be more proud of the way the two players, their teams, and their coaches have gone about it. But before I go, it makes sense to address the elephant in the room, right? Come on, it's important. So, who wins the MVP this season? The ultimate question, huh? The reason why we've had so much drama over the last few weeks, but I'd say we're still not any closer to resolving the debate itself. I promise to remain civil, and I also promise not to make the decision for you. Over the last week or so, Embiid has become the betting favorite, and he's also leading the MVP race as per the official standings on NBA.com. Meanwhile, Jokic is a fraction of an assist away from averaging a triple-double for the best team in the West. As great as both of them are, it's unfair not to mention Giannis, who is posting great numbers once again. And this time, he's doing it for the team with the best overall record in the NBA. All I know is I'm extremely glad that I won't be the one who has to make the decision. That's all I have on Nikola Jokic being turned off by the ugly and nasty MVP debate.